Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Cancer is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider hitting the subscribe button, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Cancer, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Two of Cups, love, right? Connection. Love is the glue that holds everything together. I think that you are manifesting this. I think that you are coming into a closer alignment with your true self. I think that you're focused on the health of your relationships. Because this Two of Cups, this is a relationship that we have with ourselves, with our lovers, partners, friends, family members, co-workers, with life, with our pets, our plants, right, with everybody. This is a relationship that is healthy. There is mutual love, respect, support, okay? There's reciprocity, there's give and take. That everybody involved is sort of bringing something to the table, right? In your relationship right now, I wonder if we're asking this question. Is this a relationship where I feel respected? Is this a relationship where I feel like I'm giving and receiving in a kind of equal, balanced manner, you know? Not in a transactional way. Not in a way that's sort of keeping tally that says, well, I did 10 favors for them. They've got to do 10 favors for me, you know? I think it's just, it's a feeling. Do we feel love? Do we feel respect? Do we feel that there is a harmony and a balance in this relationship of ours? Well, let's put this card into a little bit of context, okay? Let's see if this is for if this is just, life in general, or if there's a particular relationship that you're asking about here. We've got a Five of Cups, okay? We've got the Death card, got the Sunshine behind us. We've got a Knight of Wands and, Lover's card in the future position. Okay, Path of the Serpent, we've got a Nine of Swords. We've got a Five of Swords. We've got your superpower card. That's a Knight of Cups. That's one of the cards that represent the Cancer energy in action. Okay, and finally we have a Prince of Cups. Prince of Cups is authenticity. Okay? I think we're looking for an emotional alignment here. We're trying to realize if the path that we've chosen, the person we've chosen, or this particular relationship. Now, when I say relationship, we could be talking about a romantic relationship because we've got the Lover's card and the Two of Cups together. Well, yeah, it could be, but put your pitchforks away. It doesn't have to be romance, but it could be. It could be the relationship we have with ourselves. It could be the relationship we have with our particular path at this time. A spiritual path, a career path, a hobby, a vocation, a sport, a martial art, the stamp collection. It doesn't matter. It could be a relationship with a family member, a friend, coworker. The Two of Cups idea is the balance or the reciprocity or the harmony, the flow, the connection between me and something out there, okay? Whether it's an externalized kind of conception of our path or of our true nature, we're trying to determine if the path that we're on now, whatever form it's taking, if this is the right thing for us. Yeah, let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Bubo, the mechanical owl, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. Okay. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, let's take a look around the room. For major arcana, well, we've got the Sun, and we've got the Lovers. We're putting a spotlight on this relationship. We're putting a spotlight on this choice that we've made, this commitment that we've made, because, well, we want it to work out. We obviously want the clarity on shining on our relationship that says, yeah, this is a very balanced and healthy relationship. Why do I feel a 5 of Cups here? Is this just, well, every relationship's going to have its ups and downs, But then why do we have our 9 of Swords here? Okay, so that's going to be an interesting question when we get there. We've got our 2 major arcana energies. And a little bit of fire. Water, 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 water. I forgot about the Death card underneath. That's a major arcana too. Kind of looks like we're resting in a cradle of divine energy here. Okay? I feel like that's kind of the universe's way of saying you're in good hands, You're being supported by the universe. Whatever your decisions are, whatever your choices are, whatever you choose to do from this point forward, know that the universe loves you. And know that you're being supported. And know that you will be in a happy, healthy relationship, whether this is the one or not. These are the questions we have to ask, right? And sometimes the Death card underneath the surface here is us having a difficult time letting go of something. That we sort of know something needs to be behind us. We're having trouble keeping it in the rearview mirror, right? And when we look at the Sun card in the background, I wonder if it feels like your best days are sort of behind you, that all the sunshine and love and light and look at this is just beautiful success and pleasure and, this is just a wonderful day. I wonder if it kind of feels that the good days are back there. Okay? And so it's kind of hard for us not to get too nostalgic about the past. And of course, then the Death card is saying, I don't want to let go of this past. I want to keep this here. I want to keep it going. I want this now. But this could be that we're sort of clinging to this, right? And we're hoping that we can kind of manifest this again in a way. But we'll talk about that. We've got, obviously, we've got water, 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 water. We've got our air cards. What we don't have is any earth energy right now. And that earth energy is confirming for me that this isn't about what you're doing, really. It's not about the other person. It's not about the object or the path. It's not about the stamp collection. It's not about the job. It's not about the people there. It's about your relationship with that thing. This is all heart and mind stuff. This isn't about the actual other person. It's about your relationship with them. And something's rubbing you the wrong way right now. Okay, something's rubbing you the wrong way. Got a 5 and a 5. Okay, so what does the 5 of Cups really mean right now? Well, the 5 of Cups is some emotional disturbance. We feel there's some kind of something's making waves in our feelings right now. We don't really like it. And it could be that we're just kind of, I don't know, we're getting on each other's nerves, or we're experiencing a disconnect. This is some disharmony. Okay, when we have this 2, well, a 2 and a 5, right, gives us a 7. So we're kind of worried that the current difficulty, emotional challenge, right, might be indicating something a little bit deeper is going on, something more fundamental. Okay, but that's the question we're asking ourselves: is this emotional turmoil, this 5 of Cups? Well, we have to look at it, and that's why it's front and center. Spirit wants you to pay attention to the feeling. Right, you got this deep feeling of love and connection, yeah, but then there's something that's not quite right. Spirit wants you to look at that and try to figure out the answer. What is this telling me? What is the message here? Why do I feel this way? Is this just the natural ebb and flow? Is this just the natural kind of ups and downs of any kind of a partnership? When we think of the Lover's card, we think of a marriage, right? In sickness and in health, for better, for worse, richer or poorer, you know? And is this just one of the, you know, the less good days? Is this just one of the challenging times? And so in that way, it's kind of just, it would be easy to say, yeah, you know, there's a foundation of love here. And what we've got to do is just weather the storm, and this is the right connect. This is what we want, right? I think this is kind of this is what we're manifesting, and we know that, yeah, there's a challenge right now. The storms are a little bit turbulent. Something's making some waves, right? But in the immediate future, we have our commitment, we have our devotion, our love, our promise. And so it could be that this 5 is just some surface level stuff. Something's rocking the boat, and it's okay. It's going to pass. Remember, sickness and in health, better for worse, so it's okay, right? And now this death card underneath. Sometimes with these two cards together, the sun and the death card, it's that we could be afraid of sort of losing happiness, that we're gripping too tightly to something in the past that was perfect. This is perfection. We're judging the current situation by the standard of the past. So it's kind of like we remember when we first got together how beautiful, how perfect it was. And now it's a 5 of Cups, so it's not the same as this. And so we're saying it's supposed to be like this all the time. This is kind of like we're almost saying, look, it should just be sunshine and roses all the way through to the foreseeable future. We should never get a bump in the road in any kind of a partnership, friendship, romantic relationship, marriage. On any path we're on, it should just be perfectly good days, perfectly sunshiny weather all the way through, right? And so we're gripping too tightly to these perfect moments out of this fear that, you know, because it's not here, today's not a sunshiny day, that this has some deeper significance to it. Okay? What we definitely don't want to do, though, is avoid the 5 of Cups, the emotional avoidance, right? And we try to just say, no, everything's fine, because we don't want to feel, we want to suppress the conflict. We don't want to feel the discomfort. So we may ignore the 5 of Cups. Anytime we get a 5, it's Spirit's way of saying, you have to pay attention to this. You feel a certain kind of way, you got to look at it. It doesn't mean that this is the wrong partnership or the wrong path or the wrong job. Maybe it's a job. It doesn't have to be that it's the wrong path for you. But you feel this way, you don't want to ignore it. If you ignore it, it will fester. Okay? It may be that we just need to sort of, we've fallen out of harmony with things. We need to try to get back into that harmony. Yeah. And so maybe the death card is, rather than saying I have to let go of this whole relationship, maybe it's just like I have to let go of some of my expectations, that things are going to be perfectly glorious and sunshine, you know, sun card perfect every single day. Maybe this is of a test of the strength of your bond right now with this, whatever your path is. Okay, then that's the Lover's card. This is the commitment that we've made. This is the promise where we've said heck yes to something. I'm all in. We've married ourselves to something, literally or figuratively. Okay, doesn't have to be romance, but it could be. Okay, and you know, sometimes we have these unrealistic expectations that because there is some sort of bad mood, some sort of sadness, some sort of melancholy or difficult, you know, turbulent emotions right now, that we're kind of we're catastrophizing, right? 9 of Swords. We may be thinking the absolute worst. Maybe we're in a bad mood. Maybe our friend's in a bad mood, and we think it's the end of the relation. It's the destruction of this whole thing. I'm having a bad day. It doesn't mean that this whole job is over. That doesn't mean that your whole career path is going down the toilet or something, right? We don't want to sort of exacerbate it by paying too much attention to it, but we don't want to let it fester by ignoring it either. But sometimes we can put too big of expectations on other people to fulfill some kind of emotional need for us, right? That we may expect it to be all perfect all the time, and then when it's not, we start kind of blaming ourselves, right? 9 of Swords. Or we start blaming others, right? 5 of Swords. And so the other side of that is that we don't also alternatively want to feel as if the love that we have, the connection between ourselves and this other person, I feel like it's probably a person. And I feel like it's probably a friend, a family member, or a lover, a romantic partner, or a spouse or something. We don't want to feel as if that you have to prove your devotion and your love for somebody by going through the difficult times. If somebody's not treating you right, you don't have to put up with that. So it's not like we have to earn the love. It's not like I have to prove how much I love them by how much I'm willing to suffer. Okay? And so that's also something that we have to consider and look at in this situation. Part of your impulsive nature right now is kind of running, right? We have the Knight of Wands at the top there. And sometimes that is just the feeling like it could be a few things. It could be the feeling as if I've jumped into something. I agreed to this way too quickly. I wasn't thinking. This is all action. It's fire on fire. There's no thought involved here. It's kind of like we're being presented with the option and we just dive right in. Heck yes, 1,000% yes, and we dive in. So I wonder if that's sort of the question that we're asking too. Did I jump into something too quickly? Yeah. And on the other hand, should I jump out of it just as fast? Right? Maybe we did. Maybe so. I jumped in too fast. Well, now I gotta hurry up and run the other way. Right? And so this is that impulsive energy that we might be sort of looking at. It's sort of it feels like it's an option that's there for us. That maybe that's the case, but I don't think we really want to be this impulsive right now. Maybe we did jump into something. Maybe we didn't think very much before we did this thing, before we took the job, before we got involved with this person, before we started this path or made this commitment. It's some kind of it's a commitment anyway. Just because we may have started it abruptly doesn't mean it was a mistake. Doesn't mean that we have to run away as fast as we can. Okay? 2 wrongs don't make a right, right? But I'm not saying that it was even a mistake. Maybe we could have thought a little bit more before we took the leap. Sometimes in life you got to take the leap, right? What's done is done, basically. But that's not to say that we should stay and linger if we truly come to the conclusion that this is not a path for us. Okay? I think part of our death card too is this idea of generational patterns. Some of the unconscious beliefs that we've inherited about what love or family or fulfillment mean, about what happiness should mean. Okay? I think we need to ask ourselves that, how much of my experience now, my 5 of Cups, which is this is pure love, right? This is I'm kind of disappointed. Things aren't going the way I thought they were. And as we're seeing, there are a lot of reasons why we could be feeling that way. The generational stuff is part of this death card because maybe we need to break some of those unconscious beliefs about love and partnership and connection and et cetera, happiness and all that stuff. Okay. In the future position, we do see that Lover's card. And so it is kind of you're looking at this connection that you've made, this commitment, this promise. However it is, however it's manifesting in your life, whether, again, it's through a relationship with a person, a place, a thing, a path, a belief, something going on inside of you. Could be a spiritual path you're on. Okay. Part of our Sun card here is the idea that, are we chasing a fantasy version of love or joy or happiness that is kind of like denying the real emotions? Because again, this is the ideal. Oh, that's perfect, right? And of course we get that 5 and it's like, this is what it's actually like, We may have this fantasy that love is supposed to be just sunshine and roses and cotton candy and unicorns, but in all practical reality, it's not. This is like the real gritty truth of life, where it's just like A lot of we're going to have to get used to everybody's bad habits. Everyone's going to have their personality quirks, and then maybe this is a friendship. Maybe this is a family thing, romance. This could be something going on at work, etc. It's not about what it is. It's about how you feel about it and how that's leading you to ask questions and how you're thinking about it. It's about the relationship, not about the thing, okay? And I'm not reading that thing. I'm reading your relationship to the thing or the person, or whatever, right? We'll call it a thing. Let's talk about the path of the serpent, okay? And as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. These readings are totally free, and it really does help out the channel when you subscribe, so I appreciate that very, very much. Your Nine of Swords is down here as your general energy, and sometimes this is us kind of blaming ourselves for why things don't go so well, okay? Sometimes in an effort to avoid how we truly feel, we sort of deny, we don't look at the Five of Cups and we just say, nope, everything's fine, right? The Nine of Swords is a cruelty that's aimed at ourselves, and usually this is us being quite cruel to ourselves. Okay, this is, I'm blaming myself for why this isn't working. Blaming myself for why this is, why we're experiencing some disharmony right now. Okay. Let's do an affirmation card. Let's do a Language of Flowers affirmation card, because I feel like the Nine of Swords is really negative dialogue with ourselves, right? An internal dialogue that is destructive rather than constructive. We have here is the everlasting daisy of fortitude. Be brave and dig deep. Don't ignore how you feel. Go through those feelings to get to the essence of why that is. Maybe the Nine of Swords is saying the reason why I'm having difficulty with that Five of Cups is because I don't feel that I'm worthy of love. I don't feel like I'm worth it. I don't feel like I'm valuable. I feel like anytime there's a little bit of a Five of Cups, conflict, a disagreement, anytime somebody doesn't smile the right way at us, we kind of feel as if we're being personally attacked. Sometimes this card is that we're really taking everything personally, and everything that anyone else does hurts. The way somebody might say hello to you, you're like, well, that was rude, And we may wonder why am I being attacked like this? Okay. And I think, again, this is part of us gripping very tightly because we don't want to lose the happiness. And so when something is a little bit out of harmony, which, hey, it happens, any kind of a partnership, it's all about going from a 5 to a 6, 5 to a 6, and then the 6 is like that perfect state. Well, the 6 is the number of the sun anyway, right? We have that sun card. But we know that we can't hang on to that 6. It's always going to start to lean a little bit into a 5 or into a 7, and then it's our job to kind of harmonize it again. But anytime it starts to lean or go off balance a little bit, we tend to make things infinitely worse than they really are, right? And I don't want to minimize what you're going through. I also don't want you to make a mountain out of a molehill either. I think we need to take a look at it to see, maybe it really is a mountain. Okay? Maybe this is a fundamental unhappiness. What's the alternative to the Nine of Swords? It's the Nine of Cups. Okay, so we have to ask ourselves, am I really not happy in this thing, or am I just having a difficult time dealing with the normal run-of-the-mill fluctuations of the emotional energy that I'm experiencing, okay, that I'm experiencing in myself and in other people? Okay. There's disharmony in the relationship. The Five of Swords in the environment, Five of Swords in the relationship. There's an inability to really connect and communicate. Okay, so there's a disharmony, I feel like, inside of you, and then that's being reflected in the way that you're talking to other people, the way you're interacting with people. So, in a large way, how we feel inside, even though we may not really be realizing that we're emanating this energy out, it's putting us in a disharmony with the rest of the world, And I think that when we're in harmony, we're attracting more abundance, we're attracting more love, good things are coming to us, right? So we need to, even though we're feeling a little bit off balance right now, I think we need to pay attention to how we are letting that seep out from us into our other relationships, other areas of our lives, right? Where we're sort of, we're upset with stuff going on at home, and then we're really short-tempered with people at work, things of that kind of sort, But the Five of Swords in the position of the environment, I feel like we need to have a conversation. We need to ask the questions, even whether it's just with ourselves or with this other person, the other party involved. We need to look at how we feel. We need to look at how we are relating to other people. Okay. Now, the Knight of Cups, your superpower card in the position of the difficulty. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to look at the future and see who we are, where we are, and what we're doing down the road. All of the knights look at the future. All of the knights are looking at the tens, right? So the Knight of Wands is looking at the Ten of Wands, seeing is this worth the effort, for one thing, right? The Knight of Cups is looking at the Ten of Cups and wondering, like, what is the overall life that I'm creating here? Am I creating something to be, happy about? Am I creating a life that I'm going to be, grateful for? Is this my family? Is this the wholeness that I'm creating here? Or am I creating a life that's just pain and suffering, right? Are we seeing a Ten of Swords when we should be seeing a Ten of Cups? So looking at that future Ten of Cups is us kind of being able to visualize the kind of emotional life we want. And I think we have to do that. We have to align ourselves with the life that we want to have, right? Our Ten of Cups, perfect dream come true life. We have to visualize that, imagine as if that life is already here, and focus on not the material, not the physical aspects of it, but how it feels. How does your best life feel? Not what does it look like? How does it feel? Okay. And I think that's going to help us to live a more authentic life, to where if we're not feeling it, we're not feeling it. Despite our commitments and our promises, we have to do what's right for us, right? And also, it's kind of anchoring us in the present moment with our Prince of Cups. Prince of Cups is a fixed air energy, not looking at the future with these two, the future or the past, really. The Prince of Cups is staying anchored in the present moment, okay? Understanding how I feel right now versus how my perfect life would feel. Ideally, how do I want to feel versus how do I feel now? And where is it incompatible? Where is it not working? And how can I reestablish the harmony between the two? How can I reestablish the harmony inside that'll help me to harmonize with the other people in my life and perhaps this particular person or this path that you're on now? See, the tarot is not going to tell you what to do. The tarot's not going to tell you, leave your relationship. The tarot's not going to tell you to stay either. The tarot wants to show you a snapshot of the energy right now so that you can trust your own emotional compass and live in a way that is authentic and real and right for you, and know that, okay, maybe that Five of Cups, that's just ego, just having a bad day, it's no big deal. We're going to get through it and we'll reharmonize. It's okay. It doesn't mean that there's a fundamental problem here. Then again, maybe it does, right? That's something, and that's the contrast really between the fives and this very severe nine. Okay, and that's why you need the fortitude. You have to be brave and dig deep to find out what this really means to you. What is your soul really trying to say? Is your soul just trying to say, hey, this is a foundation of love that you got here. You're going through some choppy waters. It's okay. You don't need to abandon ship. But we have to ask our soul that question. We have to be authentic. We have to look inside how I feel right now. Look through this, this curtain of despair and ask ourselves, what does this really mean? And digging deep, maybe we'll find out that, hey, this Five of Cups, this choppy water, this is kind of just a symptom of a deeper problem, maybe. Okay? We have to answer those questions on our own. We can't We can't ask anybody else to choose for us, you know. This has to be something that is authentically an expression of you, somebody who is in touch with their emotions, this one. Somebody who knows the truth of what their emotions are really telling them, can distinguish between, that's just ego having a bad day, or this is a fundamental problem, okay? Of course, I have my opinion. But I think you need to let your joy and let your happiness, let your ideal life, goal, kind of help to guide your choices and your desires here. Okay? You got to trust that emotional compass. Let's look at the mystery card. I'm hoping it'll be maybe like a Two of Swords or an Ace. I think an Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords would be good because I feel like we're getting to the answer. Okay? I feel like we're getting to the answer if we have that. If we get an Ace. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Oh, look at that, a 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups. This is ultimate fulfillment. This is the universe's way of saying, look, you're going to get the happy, loving, dream come true, ideal life that you want. You have to make decisions that are right for you and know whether the challenge is here for you to overcome and get through it, or whether it's, like I said, it's just a symptom of a deeper problem. You have to know if this ship is still seaworthy or if it's time to abandon ship. Nobody can tell you that but you. Nobody can make those decisions but you. But you will make those decisions and you will get this ultimate fulfillment of life. Okay? If I had to, I'm hesitant to tell you kind of how I'm interpreting this, but to me it feels as if there are deeper things going on with you that may make you feel like a 5 of Cups is an indication of a deeper problem, but really this is not. This seems to be par for the course in this kind of a partnership. So I feel, and I'm hesitant to say this, but you might come to a different conclusion. It seems like the 5 of Cups is the natural ups and downs and twists and turns of any kind of a relationship or partnership. But this is a commitment that you have made that is going to bring ultimately that sort of dream come true fulfillment. It is bringing you to your best life. But there is something in you that perhaps you don't feel as if that you're deserving of that, right? Or that you tend to catastrophize or make things a lot worse than they are. And like we talked about at the beginning, there's a lot of things that we might be hanging on to, or expectations, or this kind of, we could be, again, chasing this. Maybe this is that idealized version of happiness. We're chasing this fantasy version of joy that is really denying, like, maybe this is what we want. This is ideal, perfect 10 life, but really it's ups and downs. This is the romantic comedies and the movies, This is real life. So we have to ask ourselves those kinds of questions too. But I think this is a wonderful card, nevertheless, talking about this ultimate fulfillment. Talking about a real satisfaction, that we can be deeply satisfied with our life because we know, we trust in the fundamental foundational love that's here. We can weather any storm. This is a contentment, this is a peace, this is a happiness and a trust and a love. This is a fulfillment that we can have right now. And then any storm that we see, it's not going to upset this very much. This is a strong bond that can weather the storm. This is a ship that can sail any seas. You see? And that's how I'm looking. That's how I'm and maybe that's just me. Maybe that's my projection. That's how I'm choosing to look at this. You may see something different, but the choice is yours, okay? Now we're going to do an extended reading. We're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Cancer on Tuesdays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.